Of an unmarried couple, be close. In this lesson, I'll show you how to make a gold plate. What about this lesson? Teach everyone to do this plus G plus C, and some of the concrete pours some of how these gold plates are made. Let's take a look at these images. What about these gold plates? You'll need a machining diagram. Then finish cutting with the cutter. The cutter goes and cuts out the wood film. And these two. It's what holds these crystal plates in place. You need to make it, too. The model is there. And then you're going to split it. It's going to be divided. After the division of the production evaluation to participate in the evaluation of the material. What about in credit modeling? We try to make a categorization of the layers. Well, first of all, we need to find this update too. There's a lot of information out there. 1 or 2. And then it's 0, 1. Interjection of surprise. Let's take a look at this one. Kakiga see wood and fire out of the ground. Shaped concrete pouring technology. First you have to open this one courseware. And then open it directly with Rhinoceros. Dragging it into the Rhino works too. Double-click to open as well. Then open home again. And then let's put this gray home lesson on it. Also perform an open. Where's the textbook? This is the same one that opens the courseware. Let's take a look. First of all, you have to pick up this wooden film. I was taking one as an example. Because it's alien. So these cross sections it's varied. So you have to split it. Then flatten it. Then cut it out with a laser machine. Let's look at the process. First you have to pick up the model. What about this model? Where's the original model? There will be some problems, so that's why it's important that you start with a fix for the model. For example, it's not combined as a whole. And what about me? It is combined into a whole. And then you can box the combinations. Let's take a look at the combination. You'll see that there are still 2 sides left to combine. I'll go with these lines first. Select all lines. Hide it. And then you'll realize that these 2 surfaces don't fit together. Why can't you combine them? I'll hide this one, too. It's because there's a seam here. What about? Why is there a seam? It's not a very good model. So you need to refine it a bit. First of all, we can copy these edges. Use this magnifying glass to enlarge it. Because it's someone else's model. There may be some problems. After that, copy this. Copy it. And this one, we'll make a copy of it, too. Put it on the side that's broken. Look at this. It's not modeled by a master. It's not like it's all in pieces, is it? Learned not enough details of this model. Chaotic. Then delete it. And this? We can choose these lines to give it a bit of a combination. And then these lines you can also simplify a bit. You can rewire it. Let's say it was 2 10 o'clock sessions. You've got 3 periods and 6 o'clock. Of course there will be some deviation. It doesn't matter if it's a deviation. Deviation 6.3 millimeters. But the thread will be smoother when you rebuild it. More aesthetically pleasing. No potholes. Look at the potholes here. So you can simplify it. And then here. So why doesn't this one simplify? This one if simplified. There may be a seam. Look at this. You can't even put it together. I'm going to combine these 2 lines. Incombustible. Then we'll use this articulation. Because it's got a gap in the middle to connect with each other. The articulation it will have some deformation in the middle. It's kind of bad to recombine this thread. Then give him a sample change. Interjection of surprise, don't simplify. Then we'll see if we can combine them. Can be combined. And then this one is the same change. Pressurize it. And in the middle, it is an open. We're going to give it a closure. Because if that would film is closed. So we're going to go ahead and give it a good handle on the combination of this model. Then give it a pressure change combination Ah. This model kind of handles. In fact, here is also not off color Ah, if you ask me. I'll redo this model a little bit. Let's make this place light colored. So that we don't change it. It's just allowed to be the way it is. That's a great look. There's something to be said for styling. This new oil must have limited skills. Modal particle intensifying preceding clause. So it's a model. It's not very pretty. They're all halfway out of the house. So this model will be light water. Let's fix it up a little. And then we'll just pick it up by right-clicking on the handles. Rip it in. And what about this thread? Particle signaling a pause, emphasize the preceding words and allow the listener time to take them on board. We need to find a side. We could be here by now. Find this side. The shortest side. This side or this side. I'm going to put it on the inside. And then how many do we need? What's the spacing on this one? I've divided it into 13 equal parts. Then you can split it evenly. You can measure the distance of this 13th part. Split into 13 equal parts. We can test its distance. We can find this command this. "13 copies we can test it for distance 13. And then we can pick 2 points and connect a line to it. Let's look at zooming in on 2 points to connect them. Let's look at the length of this. The area of the measured length is 2/8. And then you can adjust this number to determine this width for you. The more you look, the more you see. The more distance it has to travel. The less this is, the better. The more it's spaced out. You test what kind of width you need for a good. And then we'll make it and it'll work with this plane. Perform an intersection line. You get this intersection line. Then we give it a. You'll find this one over here. It's not closed. Because this model is poorly made, it's not a plane. It's flat. It's fine. So when the time comes you can just copy this side out. And then give it a face. What about when it's all over? We can give it the points to put these. Because we want to put it on this plane. So we can extract this point, and this point. Extract another area center point as an 3-point fixed work plane. Extract this point from this point. What are the characteristics of these 2 points? Just these 2 spots on the side. It is characterized by the fact that it is the smallest value we can compare its y value. This circle dot. That means that this one, it's got these 2 points that have the smallest y values. So let's take these 2 points 0 and 1 to find out. Add another point. Join one of this area center because this is grouped, that's why it's grouped here. 3-point fixed work plane. And then carry this work plane to the origin. I'm at the origin. Some points in the main column. Redeployment of a group of directions, orthogonal spacing. How many columns are there? Only how many pies are divided? I'll take this one. That's a lot of math. How many of these are there? Then give it 3 points for the porters to carry it down. What about this carry down? Then this one's the opposite of this one. I can't help it if it's the other way around. This is because of these 2 points. This point and this point of the S, its Y value is varied. So this one you must end up in the aligned. You can use that heart-cow combo to give it a little alignment. And then carry it down. What if you want these lines? You can lay the system side combination to the shell class new single. And then you get. And then finally if say you need to give it a. That's the direction. Then you can write it down. Come in like this and move it around. Then delete these 2. These can take care of themselves. Finally got these. What about this one? It's needed at the end. You're just going to have to give it a smoothing out. That's the one for leveling. Then the leveling will be at the same point. This one because when looking at this modeling, it's just an opposite side. So flatten out a few sides, so before we level it out. You can put this face. Redo it again. This noodle is a bit of a mess. You can combine them. Then rebuild 3 sections of 6 points is enough. And then this side is copied as well. Combine them. Reconnecting the triple jointed hexagon. What about this side? It is a multifaceted, it's blowable. Do you understand? So if you look at the flat, it's got 3 sides. So after we rebuild, it's a whole facet. Let's give it a little pressure on the line. This thread is going to be combined here. Incombustible, there's still a seam here. If you have time, you could have used this articulation. Articulate it. Interlocking combinations. Then rebuild it into a welded 6-point. Then you do a pressure change. Getting a single water surface. What about this time? You give it another flattening. It wouldn't be 3 sides. Of an unmarried couple, be close. This one's done. You can try it.